Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Global Dawah Islamic Television, ITB USA. Today's Friday special program, we have a group of people there very much relevant to most of our lives. And inshallah, the principals of Islamic schools in New York. And we are joined by today with them. Inshallah, we will find out how the Islamic schools and what they're doing, what is their plan, how do they, what is their plan, and what are the precautions they're taking, and what is their advice to the greater community, not only for the schools, children and parents going to the Islamic school, but also to the public school, inshallah. So please stay with us, inshallah. And throughout the program, it is very relevant for those, especially those of our parents and grandparents and brothers and sisters. That it will be very informative. And if you have any questions, please send us your question as well. And this show is, you can also watch the show on YouTube and 29 different networks. If you want to join us, inshallah, you can join us on itbusa.tv@gmail.com. If you want to send your question to us. Also, if you want to, if you want to make any suggestion, is also you can send us text message to us as well on our WhatsApp. Inshallah, the most importantly, that we hope and pray that you will stay with us, and it will be beneficial for you and for all of us. Inshallah, Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, let's go to the program. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. How is everybody doing?
Doing well, thank you.
As I said in our intro, that we are today's special program, and we are delighted and glad that we are joined by. I will start with the pioneer of the Islamic school in New York State, I would say, Brother Rafiq, Muhammad Rafiq. Many of you probably know him already. He's been a fixture in the Muslim Islamic community, especially in New York, for the longest period of time. And I myself was, blessed or privileged to have served with him in when we even started Ideal Islamic School, he was part of it. And then also in Wellspring, when we were there, and I was actually for the first year or two, I was the chairman there. And so I also had the opportunity to work with Brother Rafiq, an advisor, Brother Rafiq Khan and Dr. Khurshid Khan, rahmatullahi alayhi, and also Dr. Beg. So anyway, and then also I'm joined by Dr. Khadija Jean Price. She is the principal of the, we all know the school at 96th Street Masjid. And of course, and then also our sister Ifat Ahmed, she is the principal of Crescent School. The objective of the program is to first and foremost for us to understand how the Islamic schools are doing, and what is the plan. Like every other public school, what is their plan during this pandemic? And as we know that this situation was brought upon us, and none of us were ready for it. But alhamdulillah, we are in many institutions, whether it's a school or Islamic centers or any private business, everything, we are managing it. So now we'll start the program, and our first, we will go over the issues that Islamic, not only Islamic schools are dealing with, the issues that the public schools and other private schools are dealing with. And we are again, we are blessed to have this panel of three most renowned principals and successful principals of these three Islamic schools. So first and foremost, I would want to ask a question about, and as we said, any one of you, and Sister Rifat, if you want to go first, inshallah. The first question would be approximately, the number of students they attend, Islamic schools. Do you have any idea about how many students attending not only your school, throughout the New York State, New York City, or Long Island, the New York City, how many students are attending Islamic schools?
I think it is more than 3,000.
So it's about a 3 to 5.
Maybe 3 to 5,000, right?
3 to 5,000 students you shared. Okay. Okay. So, and all of you are in touch with each other. Are you in contact with each other? I know Brother Rafiq used to have a principals committee or something. I don't know.
Yes,
Do you have?
Yeah, Brother Rafiq has met an association, Islamic School Principal Association. So we do meet every other month.
Oh, very good, mashallah. So you are pretty much aware of what is happening around the other schools and all
Yes.
these things. Very good, mashallah. So the question, I know since this pandemic happens almost at the end of the last school sessions, right? It was in March it started, and so right after that you had to come up with the programs and and plan to continue the classes. Were you able to do that, and how did you do it?
Okay, we did it very successfully. All our teachers were doing remote learning. They attended the PD for the remote learning, and they were able to do all right from kindergarten to 12th grade. And we offer AP also, so they were teaching AP classes, regions classes, or of course elementary and middle school. And mashallah, they did a wonderful job. Parents were very satisfied, very happy. I was getting email that they are really happy with all the teaching going on online.
So you during these online classes, were you able to take all the tests, and did you have?
Yes, we were able to take all the tests. We were doing assignment, grading on the assignment, and teachers were giving all the tests.
So this is particularly your school. But by the way, Sister Ifat is the principal of.
I'm the principal of Crescent School, and this is my 10th year as a principal. Before that, I was teaching. I was a science teacher also, so I was teaching at Crescent School before becoming the principal for 3 years. And Crescent School is in Nassau, Hempstead, and it's from pre-K to 12th grade. And I think this is the 27th year, mashallah, the Crescent School is going on.
Mashallah, mashallah. Any Brother Rafiq or Sister Khadija, how is your experience been, Brother Rafiq?
Yes, I just want to add to what Sister Ifat just mentioned. I think in New York City and Long Island, we are about 4,000 students. And if we look at the Westchester and upstate, we are close to about 5,000 students attending Islamic schools throughout New York State. I'm the principal of Alisan Academy. Alisan Academy was established since 1989, so we are in our 31st year. I've been the principal for the school from since then. We started with 2 students, and we now have an enrollment of over 500. And we also have from pre-K all the way to high school. We employ about 6 to 7 persons from in terms of teachers, kitchen staff, bus drivers, because we provide our own transportation and we also provide our own meal service. With regards to the online experience, it was very hectic getting on, to transition from in-person to online. But teachers, parents, and students were up to the challenge. And I think from the very first week, we were able to transition very smoothly. So I would say that it was indeed a great experience. We use Google Classroom, Google Meet, and they were always on an everyday basis. They were live sessions. I think even though there was some extra work and parents at times were overwhelmed, it was a wonderful experience, and children really stood up to the challenge and they learned very quickly.
Sister Khadija, Dr. Khadija?
I'm the principal of the Islamic Culture Center School. And this is, we have just completed 9 years of operation. We are located at the 96th Street Mosque, as you already mentioned. when we go back, we'll begin our 10th year. We'll also be going into accreditation year. We're hoping to be, accredited, achieve accreditation this year. So we started off not as small as Brother Rafiq. We started off with 17 students. And at the end of the year, we had about almost 180. Assuming that this year we will be over 200. Unfortunately, inshallah. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19, people are more opting for homeschooling. So the numbers seem to be dropping. So that's one of the challenges that we have this year. But we are also centrally located. So that's one of our assets. We're right at the intersection of 96th Street and 3rd Avenue. So we have access, to the Q train. We have the buses and people. The parents who attend or the students who attend our school come from all boroughs. They come from Bronx, they come from Queens, they come from all over. So we're not just limited to the Manhattan area. We have students from all over. To talk about the online experience is just to repeat what my colleague said. It was difficult to transition, but give credit to my staff. They did it very, very well. And what we found useful was that we actually had a technology person. We assigned one of our admin staff to be a technology person. So they worked with the students, they worked with the parents, they worked with the teachers, and it was almost like a 24 hours. I'm sure my colleagues can say the same thing. It was almost 24 hours times, times 7. We were just up all the time, just trying to make sure everybody was online. And we did get a lot of credit. We said, parents, very few criticism. I'm surprised, because my staff worked so hard that we had very little criticism, that the parents were really, really pleased. Even though, like Brother Rafiq said, it was a burden on some of them, especially the parents of smaller children or parents who have more than one child in the school. It was kind of difficult for them, and it was difficult for them to get used to having their children at home and teaching, having to assist their instruction. But overall, it was a learning experience and a very good experience.
That's for sure. Just to elaborate on one the issue that you had. A lot of some parents are opting out to the homeschooling. Did anybody else, either one of you, have any of this experience from?
Yeah, we do. We sent a survey to our parents, and most of them want in person, but about 5% they want remote learning. So we are doing blended learning, and we are streaming, like that. When the teacher is teaching the same lessons and the same curriculum, they are learning and doing it at home.
No, but what Sister Khadija was saying, the homeschooling is something different. I mean, it's just completely different.
None of them opted for homeschooling in my school.
But Rafiq?
Experience there, there are one or two parents who came up and they said that if we are not allowed to have fully remote learning, meaning that they wouldn't be sending their students for a blended or for a hybrid program, that they would resort to homeschooling, and that was just one or two parents.
Okay, so there's nothing significant. Just one of the issues that you hear a lot from, especially from public school, that a lot of parents from the public school, the children did not have the laptop. Parents were not equipped to even help the children because they are not, expert, or they're not able to help the children get on even on the home if they had it. Did you guys have any of those challenges from within your community, or the parents came to the look? I cannot afford. I don't have a laptop. I have 2 or 3 children. I need 3 laptops. How can I afford it? Did you have any of those challenges?
I think generally we were able to sort those problems out. For example, at Alisan Academy, we had over the years accumulated a lot of the Chromebooks, and so every student was assigned a Chromebook, and anyone who needed a Chromebook came to the school, and a Chromebook was loaned to them. So we didn't have this type of issue.
Sister Khadija?
Well, we're not as established as Brother Rafiq, so we didn't have as many, but we gave them as many as we could, and even some of the teachers, they gave them their personal computers. But most of we found it wasn't so much the number of laptops. It was them making the connection and understanding how to familiarize themselves with this Google Classroom, and being online with their children.
But they were able to come through with your help and all this thing. You didn't have
They were able to come through because we made certain, and in the end the DOE seemed to have sent out there was a program where they could apply for laptops, and so some of our students also got laptops from the DOE education.
Sister
Yeah.
Ifat, I'm sure you didn't.
We never had that problem. Most of the parents have laptops, even with the few children, one or two kids, but they did have a problem logging in and all in the beginning, but our teachers, they helped them how to use Zoom or Google Classroom, Google Meet. So in the end, it took 2 weeks, but everything went smoothly after that.
Okay, that's very good. Brother Rafiq, do you know, have you done any, based on your number of students and the families, do you know how many percentage or anybody got infected with the disease, or anybody lost lives, or any?
It wasn't a high percentage, but we did lose some parents. We had some families lost grandparents, and there were many who were sick in some of the families. But alhamdulillah, it seems that everything has got back to some normalcy, and we pray for those who have been ill, those who have passed, and like I said, it wasn't a high percentage. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant those who have passed Jannatul Firdaus, and those who are ill, may Allah grant them shifa.
Amin Allahumma amin. Sister Khadija, any
And even though it's one, the mother of one of my teachers, she passed away she was in a home, and she passed. Fortunately, none of my students that we know of, or their parents or family members.
Alhamdulillah. Sister Ifat?
And grandparents passed away of our kids, and a few of the families, they were affected, but they were okay now. One of my teachers' 2 uncles passed away.
Okay, very. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus, inshallah. Just now, the most important question. I know we are all ready to, the schools, whether opening, not opening, or how are you going to open, and all this thing. So, you have decided which way to go. All of you, I guess. Can you start, Brother Rafiq? Start with what is your, if you have decided which ways to go, whether it's online or on site. And have you done any surveys amongst the parents and to gauge their response, and what you also amongst the teachers? And can you just elaborate on this? Can you talk about it?
Okay, so the first thing that we had to do as schools, and that's not only for Alisan, for all the Islamic schools, all the private schools, all the public schools, we had to submit a reopening plan to the Department of Health, the State Department of Health, and a plan also to the State Education Department. Alisan, we decided that we will look at a blended or a hybrid program, and we will give parents the option if they would like to have a remote program where they wouldn't be sending their students or their children to school, that they have that option. So we surveyed the parents, and about 50%, half and half, about 50% are interested in blending, 50% are interested in just remote. We are still looking at the situation and hoping that we will once again reach out to them. To some people may have changed their minds. They might have more concerns with regards to what is happening presently, because things change on a daily basis. So we are hoping to again to do a survey and to check where they stand in terms of their decisions that they have made before. But as of now, we are looking at an in-person, a few days in school, few days remote, and then those who have that more concerned, they fear, and they would not like to send their children to school, we are giving them the option of having a full remote program.
Excellent. So when you said the blended program, meaning few days on-site, few days off-site, that's what you meant, or?
Yeah, that's the more blended. In terms of the blended, that those who are in school in person and those who are at home, they will be learning at the same time. So we don't have to get separate teachers for the ones who are at home and the ones who are at school. So like Sister Ifat had mentioned earlier about streaming and
Right.
Those kids joining the classroom, we are looking to enhance our classrooms in terms of putting in some special cameras in the classroom so that teachers can still move around, they can still be interactive with students, they can interact with their students in the classroom, don't have to sit in front of a computer, and still the students at home will be able to interact with them. So we are looking to have some cameras put into the classroom with better audio, maybe some remote audio the teacher while walking around the students can still hear at home.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, but Rafiq, going back to you again. So the 50% students that you have, you said about 400 students you have, right?
500.
500. So let's say 250 kids. The parents willing to send the kids. Are you maintaining the social distancing or?
Yes, with that ratio, we of course we are not able to do in person fully with the entire school, because we do have to follow the CDC guidelines, the state guidelines in terms of social distancing. So in terms of social distancing, we will be able to only accommodate about half of our student population.
Meaning 250 or?
Yes, about 250.
I see. Okay. The same questions to Sister Ifat.
Okay, so what we are doing is we have big classrooms, and we are only taking about 12 students. So I'm opening the school with in person, and very few students in each class want remote learning. So we are live streaming it through Zoom or Google Meet. So the same, they are going to attend the same school timings and the curriculum and the periods what the in-person are doing.
So what percentage of in-person, on-site or off-site?
80%, 80 to 80, 90% in-person.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and very like 6% are doing remote learning. So they are sitting at home. It's not that they are coming to the school and they are at home all the time, and the in-person are in the school. So like the CDC guideline, we have done also, we are able to do the 6 feet social distance and mask and sanitizers and all that. So and also we have a big parking lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting 1 or 2 classes outside when the weather permits, so they can rotate. So some classes they can come out, in the rotation basis. So inshallah, it's all in person and very few remote learning.
Oh, that's very good, Sister Khadija.
Our building, we have a large building as well. Our building is almost a city block. I'm sure you know what it is, but our concern was to this the social distancing. So we have staggered the classes, for example, there may be only 3 classes in the school, and the next day there'll be only certain classes. So about, like Brother Rafiq said, about 50% of the school is in the physical building at one time, and then we will live stream the rest of the classes.
But it's blended, what Brother Rafiq said. So it'd be simultaneous, one online and one offline.
It's simultaneous. But what we do notice is that if more people are asking for 100% virtual online learning. So we don't know, like Brother Rafiq said, over the next few days, it's changing. The percentage is changing. So we have to, accommodate that.
Changing towards online or changing to an on-site?
Changing to be 100% online. People are requesting, yes.
At your school, especially?
At my school, they're requesting. Their parents are asking. We did offer that as an option, and so now people are saying they prefer to be at home and have the classes live stream.
Wow, as opposed to sister at Crescent School, they're almost 80-90% ones on site,
Yes,
which is
yes.
so. Your schools, as far as staffing concerned, online staffing concerned, let's say if you have virtual melded, I mean blended classes, do you have enough teachers to?
This is what we're actually working on. We're working on all the details now. I have a leadership team, so we're all working on, because it's not easy. I hope I'm not making it sound like it's very easy. It is not, and I'm sure my colleagues will say the same thing. It
Yeah,
is so complicated. It is so challenging, and it's extremely stressful. So
Sure.
it's something that we have to take the entire staff and sit down and work out these details, because first of all, you're dealing with children. You're not
Sure.
dealing with robots. So even if you have 50% of the student population in the school, to make certain that they stay 6 feet apart, keep their masks on most of the day. These are the challenges we face. So it's about also moving around the classes, which ones we have the most number, move into the biggest classrooms, make certain about lunches. When they go to lunch, they go to the bathroom, that they still maintain that social distancing. And
So
as Sister Ifat said, we're also going to use outside.
yeah.
We have a roof. Actually, we have a large roof. We have a large gym. So those areas that are underutilized. And also, let me mention that we had to take out the early morning assembly,
mm,
because that's, and we told the parents that if they want their child to do salah, then they have to bring that. We have mats. The place is carpeted, but they should also bring their prayer rugs.
so
Can
so
I just can I just add one
sure,
thing?
sure, sure.
We are having early dismissal at 2 o'clock. I do not want salah, because salah is not a problem, but the wudu is a problem. Sending one student at a time to the bathroom, or two students. So we are not having salah, and Fridays we are dismissal will be 12 o'clock. And also what we did is we are using Sister Khadija auditorium as a class, lunchroom as a class. The lunch will be only 15 minutes in the classroom. So we are not mixing the students of different grades. So lunch is only, and also auditorium is, we have a big auditorium, we have a big lunchroom. So we're also using as a classroom.
Whether Rafiq, the same question. Just before
Yes,
you go ahead.
we are hoping to use our auditorium as classrooms also, and students will be eating in their classrooms, so that they don't have to be mixing, all the time. So instead of bringing them to the auditorium or to the lunchroom for lunch, they will have their lunch in their classrooms, and the auditorium slash class, the lunchroom will be used for classrooms also.
So another question is about: are you making a mask as a mandatory for your staff and the students who will be coming on site?
Yes, we are, and that's something. It's like Sister Khadija said earlier. It's not something that will be very easy to put into place in terms of ensuring that it is something that is done, on by everyone at every time, throughout the day. Kids are going to be kids, and depending on the mask that they come to school with, they might want to show it off. They might want to exchange things. So we have to plan for that. But generally, we are looking to enforce the wearing of masks throughout the day.
But so, in other words, that's in your policy that they have to wear it.
Yes, that's in the
It's in our
policy.
policy.
In the policy.
What about any testing? Anybody, the kids who are coming to school, is there any testing regime you have in place so that they will come to the door that you test their?
Yeah, we are doing that. We are doing the temperature check. We have 2 entrance doors. So we have staff who will be checking their temperatures. And also for the teachers, we bought the shield. You know that shield we have?
Right.
The transparent, so all teachers have to wear the shield as well as the mask. If they're wearing the shield, they don't need a mask, so that the student can see their team teaching and see their face. So, but the students, they have to wear the mask.
What about Sister Khadija? You have any testing or?
We're going to use the same thing that so far it's a thermometer, and it's mandatory that the students wear masks.
Yeah, it is mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory that they have to, and the teachers. But
So
I like the idea about the shields. They probably it's better for the teachers to wear shields
Shield, yeah.
than the masks.
I think that'd be a good idea. Once these ideas that we are talking about, if you can also share it with each other, so at least if something is missing, then you could improve on, inshallah, to fill up the gap.
Definitely.
And along
Right.
with the screening at school, we are hoping too that parents will do their part and make sure that they don't send sick students, children to school, that they will do some sort of testing at home, and follow the guidelines so that students don't come to school and then we have to send them back home.
As far as the student at home, do any one of you have any nurses at the school available, or what? If not, then what is? Let's say somebody said, "I'm not feeling well." What is your? How are you going to handle this? What is your? I mean, of course, the public school have the nurses, in the school and the staff. They're there, but I don't know what anyone.
So for me, it's a challenge because last year when we asked about this, just as we went to towards March and we're starting to close down, we asked about nurses, and it seems to be it's assumed that we will have a nurse, but I know that there's a shortage because we're not public school, and that's one of our challenges because we are not medical people. And I'm sure that my colleagues can say the same thing, that parents do send sick children to school, and you have to send them home. So it's a challenge being a principal, and then you on top of that, now you have to try and diagnose kids with COVID-19, and then the flu season is coming up. So that is definitely going to be a challenge, and I am hoping and praying that they will send us a nurse, because that would take a burden off us. It's not, without a nurse it's very, very difficult, but they give priority to those schools that have children with chronic diseases. So
you don't have requirements for the parents to provide you any certification or testing result of the children, because is there something that in place or no?
we have something in place. The policy is that if your child has for example, if your child has a temperature over, what is it, 100?
104.
104, don't send the child to school. The temperature has to go down. They have to remain at home. In addition, another 24 hours before you send the child back.
But how do you verify that? Let's say I'm a parent. I want, I don't even know that, or my child is sick and I just want to bring the children. How do you verify it? Do you have a policy? Look, you have to, every child has to bring this.
Not written. No, it's strictly visual. Unless it's something, if we do have a nurse in the building, she will, use her skill to say and call the parents and say, you need to take the child to the doctor or to the emergency room. With that, because that person is experienced. We don't have that experience, so it's usually visual. Or your child is sick. Please come and get them. Take them to the doctor.
But you don't have a nurse right now.
At the end of the day, no, we did not. It was intermittent, because they came from an agency, so they may be there one day and not there the next day.
I see. Okay, Sister Ifan?
Yeah, we Alhamdulillah, we have a nurse, and what we did is we have kept a small room. If the child is sick, we are going to keep the child there. And if this is like Sister Khadija said, it is a flu season. So sometimes if they're sneezing or coughing, not necessarily mean that they have COVID. So if they are really seriously sick, we call the parent and send them, and then they have to come back with the test, negative COVID test. Then we will take them. Otherwise, they can also do remote, because we are doing a hybrid. We are doing the live streaming, so they will not miss the classes. And Alhamdulillah, the nurse is there and she's going to check. But the thing is, with the flu and COVID, it's like Sister Khadija just said, it's very difficult to see whether they have a flu or they have a COVID. It's yeah, it is quite challenging for us to see, but not to take the chances. If they have, flu and COVID has almost the same symptoms. So if they're really sick and they have the symptoms, then they have to go home and come back with the negative test.
Okay. Whether Rafiq?
Planning to do.
Yes, we do have a nurse, and we have had a nurse for many years now in New York City, and I think it's throughout New York State. If you have 200 students in a private school, or if you're allowed a nurse, you have to apply. You will have to have a special room for that nurse. It has to meet certain requirements. and you will be able to get a nurse. But like Sister Khadija said, there's a shortage of nurses right now, so it may be a little more difficult to get the nurse. But once you meet the requirements of 200 students and you can provide the right type of room, then you're entitled to a nurse. So we do have a nurse, and the nurse, we hope that she would be there when school reopens. And we are looking to see if the city will change, the Department of Health will change certain guidelines, because nurses are limited in terms of what they do in private schools. And we are just hoping that some of that can be changed so that they would be able to monitor and to screen students before they go to the classroom.
Okay. As far as the facilities with the building that you have you, what about the ventilations and all this thing? Have you had it checked and everything is good to go? With Brother Rafiq first.
Okay, so we have looked at things like filters on the HVACs, make sure that they are changed, that everything is in working condition. We are still looking to do some additional work on the air conditioning system so as to help with the ventilation, and we hope that can be accomplished before we reopen, inshallah.
Is it a voluntary or is it mandatory that you have to have it done and get a certification that your building is ready to be open?
It's a recommendation.
No, it's a recommendation. Yeah,
it's a recommendation. It's not something that is you just have to make sure that your systems are in working condition, that you do certain things in terms of they say that look at your filters, change them regularly, do some upgrading, but the upgrading is a recommendation. So we would still like to look into that to make sure that we have a proper ventilation system.
Yeah, because that's I mean, what about Sister Ifat? I mean, your situation.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, Brother Rafiq, one of the requirement is that we cannot use the ACs because AC is circulating the
Recycling, right?
Yeah, so we do have AC. We are changing the filters, but what we are doing more is we are opening the windows. So we have windows, so we are opening the windows, we are putting the fan. Some rooms do not, few rooms do not have windows, so we are going to run the AC and change the filter frequently. And those rooms, I'm taking them to the auditorium, where we have more windows. So opening the windows, open the door also. That's what one of the recommendation. Let the class door open, let the air circulate. And of course, we are checking the ACs and all filters have been changed.
Sister Khadija?
Our building is new, so none of our windows open. So we're strictly an AC environment. So it will be about changing on a regular basis and making certain that the areas are clean. So we will rely on our air conditioning team for that.
How about hand washing and
So what we're actually doing is preparing a policy for our students, so we're training the teachers first, and then they will in turn train the students so that they will extra hand washing, make certain when you go to the bathroom, make sure there's certain things that are in place, but we're going to train the teachers first. I'm going into 2 weeks of orientation with my staff so that all these things that we're talking about here, that we're going to make sure we train them and tell them what to look for, to enforce. And then when the students come on whenever the first day of school is, that they enforce that with the students.
Sister Ifat? I mean, Brother Rafiq?
Yeah, so what I did is we have all these hand washing sanitizers we have on the hallways, in the classroom, near the door. And I have hired 2 extra staff, one for the second floor, one for the first floor. So they are the hall monitors. So they are going to watch that no 2 students are walking together, or one student is going one at a time. They are going to the bathroom, and he will or she will make sure that they are hand washing with soap. So I can do this because our school, like we have around 260 students, so we can manage that. And we have mashallah, many bathrooms in each floor. So of course they are going to sanitize their hands in the classroom, or also they're not changing the classes, they're only changing the classes for computers, art, and lab. So whenever the next class is coming, the teachers are trained to sanitize the whole area, the desk and the computers and keyboards. That's what we are doing.
Rafiq?
The same thing. We are making sure that there will be sanitizing stations throughout the school. Students will be required to wash regularly, to sanitize, and to make sure that when they go to bathrooms, that they do it in such a way that you go in clean and you come out clean from the bathrooms. So we are looking also to have extra personnel for cleaning, because cleaning is as much as you tell the students that they have to sanitize and they have to wash, you need to keep the place clean, and that's not the job of the students. So we're looking to hire, like Sister Ifat said, to make sure that there are more personnel that will take care of the cleaning on a regular basis. And then we're also looking at bringing in a special company to do more deep cleaning on a regular basis.
Okay, so as far as any one of you have checklist of what precautions that you have taken to give the parents the confidence that yes, you have done everything, to prepare the facilities, to prepare the teachers? Do you have a checklist, and have you sent it out to the parents to bring their confidence level higher, so at least they know that their children will be safe in a safe environment? At the end of the day, we can only do so much. But at least whatever within that so-called so much is, have we done? Do you have a checklist to send with your schools? When is the schools opening?
Mine is opening 2nd September. So I thought they can be there for 3 days to get used to the schools, and this is a different type of schools, the cleaning and mask and all. And then they have a Labor Day, 3 days they're off.
Okay, Sister Brother Rafiq?
We are opening, hopefully, inshallah. We plan to open on the 8th of September. This is our normal way of opening school, the day after Labor Day.
So, but are you sending a checklist of what the things that you have done to prepare the building, to prepare the teacher, and what are the precautions that children have to make sure that their parents cooperate? For example, them wearing the mask, make sure they don't have the fever, make sure they have done the testing, and provide you the result. Do you have a checklist of what?
This is ongoing. We have been sending information regularly to the parents, and we're not giving them everything at the same time, but they were told already, like the process of sanitizing, making sure that that students will have masks. If they don't have, we will give it to them. They will have to wear masks on a daily basis. So it's an ongoing thing. And by the time we are ready to begin school, we would have given them all the information that they need.
Sister Khadija?
So what I did, through Zoom on last week Friday. So that was the first meeting. We went through a whole presentation of what to expect, what we're asking them to do. So the checklist was told to them, and I asked them if they had any concerns. They asked questions. We responded to them, told them what we're doing in the building, and then we will have another virtual meeting for the parents prior to maybe 1 or 2 days before the beginning of the school year, so that we can go over again in more detail. What the time we're going to start? Normally we start like Brother Rafiq on the 8th, but because we have so much to do this year, we're starting probably on the 10th. We're opening on the 10th.
How involved do you feel the parents are regarding, with yourself, with your staff, with your children, teacher, and all? How involved are the parents with you?
I think all of us would say, let me speak for myself, but that is always a challenge for us. I've been at this school now this will be my 10th year, 4 other schools. You always have a core of parents who are diligent, very there, but sometimes it's a challenge to get Islamic parents to, especially as they get older, middle school, when you tend to see them is when maybe at the end of the year the child's not doing well, or they're in danger of not being promoted, and then that's when you see everybody turn up. But usually every throughout the year we have 4 parent teacher meetings. Sometimes there are some parents you just don't see, so we try every year to have workshops, send out mailings, to encourage them. Please be more involved with your children. We cannot do everything. We try, but we cannot do everything.
Even at this time.
What worked for us is that Zoom meeting. If I had a physical meeting, I wouldn't have had as many parents. But what I find is that when now using Zoom, and having virtual meetings, I get my parents is a lot higher.
A lot of people want to see themselves on the screen. Yes, Sister Ifat.
Yeah, I had a physical meeting with my parents. I explained everything, and I wanted to know their concern, what they want to do. So I listened to their concern, and I change few things the way their parents want.
But how involved are they? I mean, the percentage-wise, you think your parents are more involved, because it's a challenge for a lot of communities.
Yes, I think my parents are more involved. Most of the parents are very educated parents. Most of the parents are born and brought up here, so they are very involved. They are very helpful. They are very cooperative. Of course, like Sister Khadija says, some of them are there who you can never satisfy some of them, but mostly they are good parents, and they want to help the school. They want this school to be a community school. So even during the COVID, when we had some financial problems, some of the parents came and they help us, and they wanted to do whatever the best they can do to help the school.
MashaAllah. Brother Rafiq?
Yeah, I think generally our parents are also very involved, and what I found very helpful is when you send them the surveys, they have been responding to those surveys, like the Google Form surveys, and you get a lot of information out of them from that. There are times also when we reach out to them through other methods, like through phone calls or emails, and I have found that emails are not so great. There are a lot of them who don't respond to emails, but in terms of the surveys, you have been getting a lot of response, and you can see that their level of participation there.
Oh, that's very good. Now, as far as when you are doing this extra, maintenance, extra, expanding yourself as far as the teachers and all this thing, I'm sure it's costing you money as well. Have you received any fund from the government, from the city, or is it still self-funded by the parents and other things?
I think whatever is being done at this time, it's all done by the school, and I can say this from all the Islamic schools, that is being done by the schools.
Yeah.
What I want to add, and there is funds available through the CARES Act for things like this, for janitorial services, for electrostatic sprayers, hand pumps, pump station, mask, shields, PPE, all the so there are a lot of funds that are available. There's some schools in different states that have already accessed those funds. As in New York City, we are still working with our our LEA, which is New York City, to find out how much funds we have coming to the non-public schools, which include Islamic schools, and what we can use those funds for, and how soon we'll be able to access those funds. As a representative for the Islamic Schools Association on the New York City Standing Committee, I work with other associations like the Catholic schools and the Jewish schools and the Lutheran schools, and we have had several consultation meetings. We are getting somewhere, and we hope, inshallah, within a few weeks that we will be having access to some of these funds, the CARES Act funds, so that we can use these funds for, the things that we have just spoken about, that we didn't plan on, doing in the schools, and we need that extra funds for it. I don't know what is happening in Long Island and in other areas, but in New York City, because we have that presence on the standing committee through the Islamic Schools Association, we are able to be consulted when these things are, when any type of money is supposed to come to us.
Okay, so in absence of fund available right now, are your parents willing, and are they helping? I mean, if you're in a shortage of funds, have you reached out to them, or you're okay with the funding? Rafiq?
So far, we haven't reached out to parents in terms of asking for any type of extra help with funding for these extra work. Parents are going through difficult times too.
Sure.
We just want to make sure that when September comes, that they will be able to pay tuition, because we depend upon that. So whatever we have right now, we're using that to ensure that the facility is compliant with all the rules and regulations of the CDC and the state and the city.
All this time, we've been talking about the parents and the children. So the most important part is, how are your teachers?
Yeah.
Sister Khadija, how are your teachers and staff?
Well, we haven't seen my teachers since June. The last day of June was when we, finished the last school year. We've been occasionally speaking, so that's why it's important to have this 2 weeks of orientation and to help them get, introduce them to the new school year, because I know they must be stressed out as well, thinking about it, not, concerned. So I'm going to use these 2 weeks, before the school starts, to work with them, and try and quell all their concerns and all their fears.
All your teachers are coming back. None of them are.
All my teachers are coming back. We did have a couple of vacancies, but one thing I do want to point out, I don't know if the other schools noticed this, the applications this year are very few. As if that, people are not, if they are moving, or they're not, if they decided, they're not looking for jobs. It's very, very few this year. Usually I have at least 2 dozen applications. I had about 2 this year.
Sister Ifat, how are your teachers? And
I was doing Zoom meeting with the teachers, and then about 2 weeks back I had a physical meeting. I called the teachers to the school. We are explaining everything, and my teachers they are coming from 25th Monday. This whole week they are coming to the school. They are already. Also, some of the teachers started coming since school is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the administration. So they are coming and they are preparing. Since they did from March to June, they did the online and Zoom learning and remote learning. So they are pretty confident they'll be able to do it. And they are already, the lesson plans, everything is ready. Like Sister Khadija, she's right. I mean, very few their application for the teachers, and some of them I interviewed, and they said they come, and and when they went home, they said, "Oh, no, my father won't let me work, or my husband is not letting me work." So I need one of my teacher left for the school, so I wanted to hire a new teacher. So that's the problem, Sister Khadija. You're right. This year they don't want
nothing.
Yeah.
Dry.
How about you, Brother Rafiq? Your staff, your teachers are okay? Are all of them coming back?
So far, I did send out a survey, and everyone said that they're coming back. We have one teacher who is retiring, so we need a replacement for her. And like Sister Khadija and Sister Ifat said, you're not getting too many applications, like in the previous years. But alhamdulillah, the teachers are doing well. They're looking forward to the new school year. But they do have their concerns, because they also have children. They also have their family members. They might have family members who have underlying medical conditions. So they're concerned about being in school and having to interact with other teachers and students on a daily basis. But we pray that we get over that, inshallah.
Sure. In a public area, we've been in this kind of work for many years, and you deal with the communities and all this thing. There is a perception amongst the people, those who are children, even the parents. Some of the parents are sending their children to school, to Islamic school. Their perception is that their children are not getting good education as they would have gotten in public school or any other public school. I want any one of you. I don't know whether Rafiq probably be the best person to convince the people out there that Islamic school is the better choice, or at least the same, or at least equal choice than as a public school.
I think the general public has a misconception with regards to what Islamic schools do. If we were to look at our graduates, those who have graduated from Islamic schools, we would see that we have among them those who are in medicine, those who are in engineering, those who are attorneys. We have those who have gone to the Middle East and to different parts of the world to study Islam. So when we look at Islamic schools, we have not in any way given them less. We have given them more in the sense that we have given them the academic as well as a solid Islamic background. So when they go out into society, they're not only doctors and attorneys and engineers, but they're Muslim doctors and Muslim attorneys and Muslim engineers. And they have what we have seen, over the last 4 days on the Democratic convention about empathy. This is what you find from them. This is what you find from students who attend these Islamic schools, that they're kind, they're compassionate, they're loving, they care about people, and they're also well educated. We have students who have graduated from Islamic schools. They go to college and they're put into gifted programs. Some of them, they graduate college earlier than those who are, of this, those who have been with them maybe at the same level in public school. They do, if not equal, sometimes far better than students in the public schools. And like I said, there's that there's something else added to it, that they are given that training, that tarbiyah, that you are a Muslim, and the qualities that Muslims ought to have, the type of akhlaq, behavior, it's all embedded in them. So even if they deviate when they move from the Islamic schools, they have been given a foundation that other children are not being given. And I think parents, yes, it's an investment. They spend a lot of money, but it's an investment well worth it, because we have seen so many children who, when parents don't invest in them in the right way, that they lose them.
Thank you very much.
Many of children really colleges too, and they are not missing anything in this Islamic school. On the contrary, like Brother Rafiq said, they are getting academic as well as Islamic moral values. The foundations are very good. They are very good Muslims when they go out. And my own son went to Islamic school, and he's a doctor now.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Sister Khadija, anything to add? Because we are just at the last minute of the program, inshallah.
I just want to add to what my colleagues have just said too. We just had a student who he was entered into a program. We only go to 8th grade, and he is going to middle school, and he's the youngest student accepted into this program, and he's gone to an out-of-state school, and he's the youngest ever to be accepted, and he came from an Islamic school, and he's probably the only Muslim in the school. So I want to agree with everything they said. We do quality. People think we do mediocrity, but what we our instruction is among the best.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much again for taking your time. I know it's evening, it's for 10:30 right and now, and you have a lot of things to do. But again, thank you very much for coming on the show. And it's an ITV USA program, and this is how we should really sometimes come on this kind of program, so at least people know about Islamic schools and what are the Islamic schools providing. How, as Brother Rafiq said, Islamic schools are trying to make a wholesome human being, and this is really lacking in public school. You go there, you have lots of challenges. The teachings they're giving you, and that teaching, there's children coming with those kind of teaching and attitude to at homes, and that becomes a really big challenge for parents to deal with. So again, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you for the job that you've been doing. And may Allah reward you, may Allah bless you, and may Allah help you do even better than what you've been doing.
Ameen.
Jazakallah khair again.
Wayakum.
To all our
we want to thank you for this opportunity that you have exposed the Islamic schools to your viewers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and all those who have helped to produce this.
Thank you.
Ameen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having.
Thank you very much. And with that, we end our show today. Again, brothers and sisters, those who have been watching us, you can watch us, you can watch this on our YouTube channel and all those things. But the most important thing is the message that you have heard today, that Islamic schools are up to the par. They're offering if not better, the similar environment education to the children, and they are there to serve the Muslim community. So if there's any way you can help them, extend your help, reach out to them, please help them, and most importantly, make dua for them, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for watching us. Once again, thank you very much to be with us, inshallah. Until next time, this is Abdul Aziz Buyan. Assalamu alaikum.
ITV